All right, kids, lesson 3, level 4, the Birds of a Feather app. I've already declared my variables. I've added my text and images to the home screen, and I've added my text and images to the favorite screen. And so now I think in this one we need to implement the list scrolling pattern. So I want to go to the home screen, and that's for these buttons here. So when I click on the right button, click on the left button, what is going to happen? And so there's a lot of things I could do for the right button, but I think the easiest thing to do would be this. If index is less than the names dot length minus 1, as long as the index is less than the length of the names list minus 1. As long as that's the case, I can take my index and add 1 to it. So that right there is fine. What will happen is if I do get up to the length of my list, I won't be able to go past it. I'll need to start scrolling backwards. If you wanted to, you could do something like this. Else, I could set index equal to 0. So as long as my index is less than the length of my list, I can add 1 to the index. Else, I'm going to set the index back to 0. So if I can keep pushing to the right on the right button, I can always push. And if I get to the end, it'll wrap around. So that is the right button. Now we need to go to the left button. So I need to go to the left button. I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to copy this bit of code here. It's the same thing I'm doing. It's the same thing I'm doing. So if index, but in this case, as long as my index is greater than 0, as long as it's greater than 0, I can subtract 1 from my index. Else, I want my index to be equal to the names.length minus 1. So if I keep clicking to the left, as long as it's not 0, and as long as it's not 0, I can keep subtracting 1. And once I get to 0, the next click will take me back to the far right last bird in my array. So we want to do the same thing at the favorites right and left button. So here's my favorites left button, here's my favorites right button. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to take this. Instead of names, it's going to be, well, instead of index, it's going to be favorites index. And instead of names, it's going to be favorite names. Is it favorite names or favorites? So it's favorite names, favorite pictures, and favorite index. So, not favorites. I'm going to copy this and put it here, put it there, and put it there. So that right button works the same way. And then I'm going to copy this. I'm going to put it in the left button. So here's the favorite left button. And so as long as the favorite index is greater than 0, I can subtract 1 from my favorite index. Else, I want the favorite index to be equal to the favorite name dot length minus 1. Now, you do not need the else statement on any of these if statements. You do not need the else statements, but I think they'll work and add some nice functionality. So let's see. I think that's all I have to do from, random birds. So birds can scroll left and right, but sometimes I just want a more random bird. So find the on event that corresponds to the random button. Found it. I found it. And so what I want to do is I want the index to be equal to a random number between 0 and names.length minus 1. And then the only thing I need to add to this is I need to add the update home screen. Update home screen. And I think, should we test the code and see what happens? So let's see, let's run this. Can I toggle right or left? I can. Can I toggle left and right? I can. Can I choose a random? Gives me a random bird. Can I favorite something? Can I favorite something? Let's go to the favorites and see what happens. That's where line 31, I probably have not. Need to see what's wrong there. Oh, I think I know. I will go back and fix that. That should be favorite pictures. Favorite pictures. I'll have to come back and check on it. See what that. I'll have to see what that is. What's messed up with that? But anyway, good enough for now. I'll come back and fix that.